And I'm your friend to the end. Heidi-ho. Ha ha ha.
Wow, he's something, isn't he?
Hey, welcome back. Week 8. Season 3. It's spooky season. It's Halloween time. Happy Halloween, everyone. It's been a nightmare for some of us out there. It's rough in these streets right now for some teams in our league. But it's also really fun for some teams in our league because if you have some players, it's been almost unprecedented times. Some crazy stats from this past week. You had a 70% chance or greater of winning if you had one of the following players: Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Tucker Kraft, Breece Hall, and Saquon Barkley. If you had any of those players, there's some stats I pulled offline I thought were interesting. And on the flip side, you had a 65% chance or greater of losing if you had one of these players: Baker Mayfield, Jerry Jeudy, Kirk Cousins, Matthew Golden, and Quentin Johnston. All right, let's get into the scoring overview for this week. All right, weekly scoring review. Theme of the week: volatility across the board. The average score, team score went down 106.04 was the average, so it went down 5.47% from last week, from week 7. 9 teams scored over their projected total. 8 teams scored over 100 points, and we had 4 underdog wins this week, which was up 2 from the previous week. There was a 35.2 point average scoring variance this week for the league, meaning that was the average difference between teams' win-loss. There's on average 35.25 points between the winner and the loser. That is number 10 all time. And that is also the second time we've done that this season from week 3. So it's already been the second time this season that we've had a really wide range of the winning team score to the losing team score. So you don't see it very often. We had 3 teams score over 130 points and 2 teams score over 140 points. 2 teams with first ever wins against their opponents. So last week we had 3 teams beat their opponents for the first time. This week we had 2. And this week, the winning teams averaged 31.73 points over projected score, which is 5th all time. And compare that back to week 2, where the average teams scored 7 points over their projected totals. So talk about volatility. The average winning team this week scoring 32 points over their projected score just means there was blowouts all over the place. So if you won, you likely won in style. Let's get into the week 8 matchup recaps. Up first, we have Al's Dumpster Divers taking on Dominic the Donkey. Al's Dumpster Divers final score 121.97 points to Dominic the Donkey's 112.32 points. Al's win on the back of Breece Hall having a monster day. Patrick Mahomes, number 1 QB, I think, overall right now for fantasy football. Strong pick for where Mahomes was drafted. So really good pick by Al's Dumpster Divers. And Rome Odunze coming through for Dominic the Donkey. Marvin Mims, Hollywood Brown, and Justice Hill in some spot starts did not pull through for Dominic the Donkey on a week where they had a bunch of players on bye and or injured. All-time record for this series is tied 2-2. Dog Pound versus Trevor's Locks. Final score, Trevor's Locks 149.38 points, a league best, to Dog Pound's league low 59.05. Blowout city. Tough to recover for Dog Pound. A.J. Brown getting ruled out. Didn't get switched out from the lineup in time, so had to eat the goose egg. Andy Dalton and the Atlanta defense also underperforming for Angelo's team, while James Cook having a monster day, a career day, I think almost for James Cook. Justin Herbert and Javonte Williams continues to just be a monster for Dallas. That offense is very, very juicy. A lot of points coming out of the Dallas defense. But again, wasn't enough for Dog Pound. Very, very tough loss there at a time where you want to start really notching those wins to make a run at the playoffs. All-time record for this series, Trevor's Locks leads 3-0. Matt's Gritty Goombas taking on Radical Rob. Final score, Matt's Gritty Goombas 93.27, enough to take out the first place Radical Rob, 91.49 points. Josh Allen, Travis Kelce, in some really, again, this one was all off of the back of the Chiefs. This win for Matt's Gritty Goombas, very late fashion going into Monday Night Football. Travis Kelce putting up 20 points, enough to secure the win for Matt's Gritty Goombas, while Spencer Rattler, Trevion Henderson, just, talk about real life failing to live up to expectations. Maybe he gets hot towards the end of the season, but Patriots aren't really using him a ton. And the Pittsburgh defense, I think scoring -5 points, it looks like. That's tough. Against those Packers, baby. All-time record for this one. Radical Rob leads the series 3-2. All right, Molly Dangerfield taking on Sleuthy Sloth's cousin battle here. Molly taking on her cousin Brendan. Final score, Molly Dangerfield 131.91 points to Sleuthy Sloth's 110.62 points. Molly picks up her first ever win against Brendan. Jalen Hurts, Chase Brown finally coming through, and Michael Pittman putting up a strong day for Molly Dangerfield, while Dak Prescott, TJ Hawkinson, and Eddie Pinheiro did not pull through for Brendan's team. All time, Brendan leads this one 1-3 against Molly Dangerfield, but again, first ever win for Molly against Brendan, so congratulations. Nakua Matata versus Watch Out Wheat getting healthy #1. That's actually not their team's name anymore. I have the old team name in here, so sorry, Lewis. I know your team name changed. I'll get that right. This was an awesome game. This was an awesome matchup, I should say. Not a game, but a matchup, because Patrick, this is a perfect example of using the waiver wire to get a win at a key time when either your players are injured or they're on bye. The Tampa Bay defense and Troy Franklin, maybe even Cam Ward, I don't know, Patrick might have picked up all three of those players, so to speak, off of the waiver wire this week, started them, got a bunch of points, got a win over a very good Lewis's team, who unfortunately Bijan Robinson, Rashad White, and the San Francisco defense just didn't fire on all cylinders for Lewis's team. Big win, because this is where you can start to mount those playoff runs, the string together consecutive wins over the weeks, but this is where it happens. And that's how you do it when you're in a hole. You get the players off the waivers, and hopefully they perform for you. All-time record here, Nakua Matata leads the series 3-1. Paige's Primo team versus Steve's Retirees. Final score, Paige's Primo team 100.66 points to Steve's Retirees 67.8 points. Paige's Primo team notching their first win of the season, grabbed Justin Fields off waivers, got a nice 23.86 points from Justin Fields. Tajay Spears also coming through with 17 points, and Samaje Perine over 16 points for Paige's Primo team, while the Cincinnati defense, Kenneth Gainwell and Harrison Butker, failed to perform for Steve's Retirees. All-time record, Paige leads the series 3-1. And last but not least, we have the Pack taking on Tua and the Pink. Final score, the Pack 145.88 points to Tua and the Pink's 84.93 points. It only took me 3 years, but I finally beat Johnny, notching my first win against Tua and the Pink. Jonathan Taylor just having, so far, knock on wood, all-time great season, getting compared to some of those early aughts, mid-aughts players like LaDainian Tomlinson and Priest Holmes. Just if you had those players, they were like cheat codes because they were just monsters. Jonathan Taylor's having that type of season, so I'm lucky. Hopefully that lasts. Bo Nix and Oronde Gadsden, got him off waivers. Tight end coming out of L.A., the Chargers. Looks good. We'll see. For two in the pink, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle, and Dalton Schultz underperformed all-time. Tua leads the series 2-1, but again, the Pack getting their first win over two in the pink. And at this point, the Pack has the most points all-time through 8 weeks by 0.44 points, with a total of 1,037.90 points. Trevor's Locks is second all-time on that list through 8 weeks with 1,037.54 points, going back to our inaugural 2023 season. Those two teams, Trevor's Locks and the Pack, will be facing off this week. All right, Week 8 awards. Beauty of the Week goes to Trevor's Locks, 149.38 points. Very, very nice score. Played Angelo, who is Dog Pound, which is Beast of the Week, 59.05 points. Second lowest team score all time in our league. So tough week for Ange. I know he'll bounce back, though. We all got a lot going on. Shit's going on. Large in the margin was the result of that, though. Goes to Trevor's Locks, 90.33 points. Very impressive. This one's special here. Nakua Matata Cuff and Link Award. Projected point spread, negative 32.58 points going into this week. Ended up winning by an insane 29.88 points. That is the biggest underdog victory to date in our league, overcoming that 32.58 projected loss. So shout out Nakua Matata, scraping the barrel on the waiver wire, getting those picks that got you just enough. But actually, in this case, it was much more than enough. Just a super impressive win. And then Matt Scrudy Goombas with the 1.78 point margin of victory, getting the Anxiety Award for the week. By the way, going back to the Cuff and Link Award, Steve's Retirees has the second all-time greatest underdog victory, overcoming a negative 31.43 projected point spread in Week 10 of our first season in 2023. Congratulations all. Through Week 8, here's our weekly award totals per team. Beauty of the Week, the Pack is leading with 3 on the season. Beast of the Week, Paige's Primo team with 3 Beasts of the Week so far this season. Large in the Margin Award, Dominic the Donkey and the Pack are tied at 2 for most in that category. Cuff and Link, we have Dominic the Donkey with 2, Dog Pound with 2, and Nakua Matata with 2. So talk about those scrappy underdog teams. Watch out for those 3. And the Anxiety Award, nobody's won that more than once, but I think 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 out of the 14 teams have won an Anxiety Award on the season. So just goes to show how many close matchups there really have been. So congratulations to all those award winners out there. All right, Week 8 standings. First place, we have the Pack at 6-2. Second place, Al's Dumpster Divers, 6-2. Third place, Radical Rob, 6-2. So the top 3 teams at 6-2. Fourth place, Trevor's Locks, 5-3. And fifth place, This Ain't Last Year, number 1. Lewis's new team name, This Ain't Last Year, number 1. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but I'll give it to you. It's definitely not last year. Lewis in the top 5 at 5-3. Looking a little further down at the last 3 teams there in the top 8, which is our playoff bracket, we have Dog Pound at 5-3 in 7th place. Dominic the Donkey, Molly Dangerfield in sixth place at 5-3. Dog Pound 7th, and Dominic the Donkey at 4-4 in 8th place. This week, biggest risers: Trevor's Locks going from 7th up to 4th place. That's up 3 spots. He's the top mover of the week. That was a huge win for Trevor's Locks. Molly Dangerfield moving up out of the danger zone, so to speak, from 8th to 6th place. That's up 2 spots. Al's Dumpster Divers coming off that big win behind Patrick Mahomes on Monday night, moving from 4th place to 2nd place, up 2 spots. Paige's Primo team climbing out of the basement with that first win on the season, going from last place up to 12th. That's up 2 spots. And the Pack moving up 1 spot from 2nd to 1st. Biggest fallers on the week: 2 in the Pink, down 2 spots from 9th to 11th. Let's see. This Ain't Last Year, number 1, coming off that loss, dropped 2 spots from 3rd to 5th, but still in the top 5 for Lewis's team. Dog Pound going from 5th to 7th, down 2 spots. Dominic the Donkey fell from 6th down to the danger zone at 8th place, down 2 spots. And Radical Rob dropped from 1st place down to 3rd, down 2 spots. Taking a little bit of a deeper dive on the playoffs, there's some tiers starting to emerge, if you can tell. So the tier 1 are the top contenders, which are the 1 through 3 seeds. The Pack, Al's Dumpster Divers, and Radical Rob sitting in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place right now. These 3 teams combined for 19 wins and have the 3 highest weekly averages in terms of points. And are most likely to clinch playoff spots by week 11 if they continue on their trends. Seeds 4 through 6, which are more of the wild card spots, right? The ones that can shuffle around. There's a block of teams that are 5-3 and 4-4, right? But that second tier team right now mostly they all sit at 5-3. That's Trevor's Locks. This Ain't Last Year, number 1. Molly Dangerfield. They have about a 75% probability chance to make the playoffs right now. But weeks 9 through 11 are going to be super important to see who increases their chances beyond 75%. And then the bubble teams, that tier 3, is Dog Pound, Dominic the Donkey, Matt's Gritty Goombas, and Nakua Matata knocking on the door there. 4 teams within 1 game of that second tier. And if any of these teams can get hot and put together a couple wins, a la what Nakua Matata's doing right now, getting hot at the right time, getting their players back off of injuries, getting their players off of bye, really starts to increase your chances moving into the later parts towards week 14. And tier 4 is more of the long shot teams, 11 through 14th place. That's 2 in the Pink, Paige's Primo team, Sleuthy Sloths, and Steve's Retirees. Not impossible, but more improbable. But again, we saw Paige's Primo team do it last season. There's no reason one of these teams can't make a run at that 8th playoff spot and sneak in. Good luck to all. Okay, trades. I'll make this one quick. There are no new trades. There was basically 1, 2, 3, 4 trades made so far this season for our league. Mostly the same teams, so don't give up. It's going to get a little harder to trade this late in the season as the dust starts to settle and people know what they have. And the trade deadline will be coming up both for the real NFL and then our league eventually, so keep an eye on that. All right, Week 9 matchup previews. Up first, we have the Pack, first place, 6-2, taking on Trevor's Locks, 5-3 in 4th place. So we have a top 5 matchup. 2 teams, the top 2 scoring teams in Week 8, coming off of big wins. Jax's team, powered by big time wide receivers, JSN and Tet McMillan, leading the way there, while my team, I tried to. I'm not going to say like I'm a genius or something, but I tried to power my teams more by the running backs this season, which is working out so far, having Jonathan Taylor. But this has big playoff implications. It should be hopefully a really good close matchup. Good luck to Jax in this one. All right, Radical Rob versus This Ain't Last Year #1. Rob taking on Lewis, another top 5 matchup. Rob 6-2. Lewis at 5-3, both coming off of losses. All time, this series is tied 1-1, and Rob's got Christian McCaffrey, Ashton Genty coming back off a bye. Hopefully, Tucker Kraft can continue his dominance, coming off a really strong 34-point game in Week 8, and Lewis's team gets Drake May coming back for hopefully another big week. Bijan Robinson finds his way back. This could be a really close one, and again, have some really big top 5 and playoff implications here in Week 8 after the halfway point. Good luck to both teams. Paige's Primo team, 2-6. I was mistaken before. I said she got her first win of the season. It's actually her second win, taking on 2 in the pink, 3-5 in 11th place. All time, Johnny leads the series 2-1. Paige snapped a long losing streak at this point, and looks to put together a couple back-to-back wins, getting back into the win column. 2 in the pink, looking to also get back in the win column after a tough loss prior in week 7, coming off their best score of the season. So this will be a battle of redemption. 2 teams looking to make the most out of their season as we get past the halfway point. Up next, we have Matt's Gritty Goombas, 4-4 in 9th place, taking on Steve's Retirees, 1-7, sitting in 14th place. Tough luck team. So far, all time, Matt leads the series 2-0. Matt peeking into the playoff bubble there, sitting at 500. That whole cluster of teams at 4-4 and 3-5 pose more of a threat to that bottom playoff bubble than I think people realize, because putting together a couple wins and a couple other teams lose, this whole thing changes really quick. Steve probably very much looking forward to the return of Lamar Jackson. Thought he was going to probably have him back last week, but they kind of pulled a quick one on everyone. So getting some of his strong players back, Jamar Chase bringing back some value now that Joe Flacco's there. He can actually throw the ball. And Matt's team looking to capitalize off of a big late Monday night win and make a push into that 8th place spot. We'll see what happens. Dominic the Donkey versus Luthi Sloths. Dominic the Donkey sitting at 4-4 in 8th place right now. He's the gatekeeper to the playoff bubble, and Brendan's team 1-7, 13th place. Not as much of a threat to make a run at the playoffs, but again, anything's possible. Has the team to do it. Has been putting together some really strong weeks, but again, hard to overcome the amount of points that are getting scored against Brendan's team this season. Dominic the Donkey coming off of a loss there. Brendan's team looking for that second win, coming off of a loss, looking to put a couple together. Let's see if Dominic the Donkey can hang on to that last playoff spot or move further up in the standings. All right, Dog Pound versus Molly Dangerfield. Dog Pound sitting at 5-3 in 7th place. Molly Dangerfield 5-3 at 6th place. All time right now, Dog Pound leads this series 2-1, so has the historical advantage. Both teams enter at that 5-3 record in that second tier. There's a lot of momentum right now with how the Colts are playing for Molly's team and the way Jalen Hurts is playing. So Molly will look to continue that momentum, while Angelo just looks to get back into the win column after coming off a tough loss. Seeing there's even trade rumors out there about A.J. Brown, so we'll see what happens there. Big playoff implications because both of these two are playoff teams at this point. All right. Al's Dumpster Divers taking on Nakua Matata. So, second place team taking on a 10th place team, which seems like, whoa, this might be a blowout, but I don't think so. Nakua Matata leads this series all time 3-1 at this point. Al's team looking really strong. One of the best teams in the league right now, but Nakua Matata, one of the hottest teams in the league right now, getting hot at the right time. Breece Hall and Patrick Mahomes, that's a tough combo to beat. We'll see as the trade deadline comes around. Breece Hall's another name that keeps getting thrown around in trade rumors from the Jets. But with players like Troy Franklin coming out and, these players you don't expect, but in certain weeks, depending on the matchup they have, they score big. Patrick gets Puka Nakua back, I believe, this week off injuries. This is going to be a good one. This is huge. So it could send a 6-2 team down to 6-3, which may reseed the playoffs there, and it could launch Nakua Matata closer to that playoff bubble, going from 10th maybe closer to that 9th or 8th place spot. We'll see what happens here. All right, this is it. We're past the halfway point. We're week 8. It is officially killing season. This is the time to stack the bodies, to build the body count. Are you going to be Michael Myers? Or are you going to be the dork that he stabs and puts up on the wall, or whatever he does in the first movie? The guy with the glasses. This is where, if you're one of those teams that's in the bottom half of the playoffs, maybe hasn't had the win, you're closer to 500. Honestly, in our league, there's only one win separating every tier of teams still. So it's kind of wide open. But these ones are going to sting more as we get later into the season if you don't get a crucial win when you need, especially against, depending on the opponent and the strength of their team at the time. When it comes to the end and we're coming into week 14, you're going to look back and be like, shit, I forgot to start somebody. I forgot to switch somebody out from my lineup. I forgot to play waivers that week, so I missed out on a player that could have really made a difference. All these things will, depending on how much you care about the game, flood back into your brain. But either way, have fun, right? This is really where it starts to get fun, because players are going to get traded in the NFL. Players are going to get hurt. Players are going to start to come back from injury, though. The weeks are going to feel somewhat hollow, but very fun because of the bye weeks still that are happening. We're going to have a couple more intercontinental games. So keep your eye out. Have fun. Don't fall asleep at this time of the season, though. It's kill or be killed. Have fun.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
What do we do?
He's been here once tonight. I think he'll come back. I'm going to wait for him.
I still think I should notify the radio and television.
No. If you do that, they'll see him in every street corner. They'll look for him in every house. Just tell your men to keep their mouths shut and their eyes open.
I'll check back in an hour.